I should tell the audience that we've got a bit of an emotional week, I would say, here this week as we are leaving this studio. It's been an eventful 2 years where the show has struggled and groaned under the weight of trying to build a business. And we're going to move into new studios. Everything is moving after, I think it's close to 10 years here. And we're going to remember some of the things from the Clevelander because as expensive as the property value has gotten around here, the neighborhood has really deteriorated. There has been...
so is my health.
There has been a lot of
but that's your fault.
shootings here recently and assassinations, plural. And we need to get out of here. And next
And that
week...
move is brought to you by Miller Lite. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Next week is going to be a little bit difficult because we're going to be in the change, and these are not your problems, they are our problems, but we ask for yet more patience after 2 years of trying to build this thing. We're excited about getting into new studios, and we will remember the Clevelander throughout the rest of the week here because one of the great memories I have, Stugotz, it really is one of my favorites as I've gotten late in life and have learned to appreciate some of this nonsense that we get to do every day, is the weekend before we were going to go on ESPN radio and start with whatever it is we were doing with them. They were going to make this studio look like all the other studios, which is just blue paneling behind us that would be nondescript. And my brother and I spent the entire weekend here putting all of this stuff up. And the reason that it's one of my favorite memories is because I remember the screaming phone calls on Monday when no one had been informed that that's what we would look like. And they didn't want us to look like that. Or no one had given them a heads up, I should say. It's not that they didn't want us to look like that. It's that they were going for homogenized at the beginning, and we put up all these tiles that we're at some point here going to just auction off because they've been here for 10 years representing us as we make a move to become a bigger business. We've got, Mike, do you know how many employees we have now? I don't know how many employees we have now.
I walked into to today's pre-production meeting, and I was a little stunned at how many people were in that room considering it's just jarring seeing how we've started. And there was a lot of people here when we were doing HQ. It was even tighter back then in many respects because we had the equipment. But I think the stark contrast is from the pandemic days when ESPN would only allow you and me in these studios and people were zooming in. So maybe I'll have fonder memories when we get out of here and I'll look back on some of the stuff that we did here and created here fondly. But I cannot wait to get out of this godforsaken building, thanks to Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Winner
of 3 World Beer Cups. They don't just give those things away.
You have said that this place is haunted. You have come in hot from L.A. talking way too much about sponsorships and deals. We are moving. This is a growing business, and part that you left out was the answer to my question. How many employees do we have?
I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's a difference between full-time employees and part-time employees, but in terms of like people that are here, it seems like 87.
It's not here, but it's not just here, but it's a lot of people. It's much, much more than what's on air as we try to get up a video.
You would think the show would be a lot better.
You really would.
But it's only gotten worse.
Well, the solution to everything is hire more people, and then all it happens is more problems.
Well,
is what I've noticed.
Again, the deterioration of everybody's health.
Yes, that's part of what's
hanging over
happening.
this show.
So do you have a top 5 nostalgic, syrupy memories instead of hauntings? Let's do some top 5 lists to celebrate our time here. 8 to 10 years, so Stugotz can be nostalgic, so that Roy can be nostalgic.
It's been 8 to 10 years for everybody else. It's been 20 to 30 for Stu.
Yeah, it has. It
all
really
in
has.
space, by the way.
Yeah.
Billy can get emotional here. Teach the young ones.
I don't want to leave.
What?
I revealed
so
that
not
today
true.
in the
Liar.
garage.
Billy said that to me. Yeah, I was having a heater in the garage.
He was talking to Cougs upstairs in the garage. I was walking down.
Who's Cougs?
Cougs.
Oh, you know.
Do you not want
Come on,
to? Do you
Dan.
not want to? I am more worried about them finding a body underneath your desk than I am in Mel Reese.
I have a plastic container. I have to take all this stuff today, I was told. So
luck with
That's
that.
why you don't want to leave because you got to clean up.
I like it here. I mean, downtown floods. I don't know if we're supposed to say we're going to downtown, but it floods there, and anytime it rains, I'm gonna have to get a boat or a kayak to get from my car.
Is it Judd
floods here, yeah.
Apatow sock puppet still over there?
No, I think one of the
To be clear, we have a day and a time of great hope, and you're already fearing change. You're
It's
already
not fear, as I'm comfortable here. This place is fine to me. I don't
Billy's
know.
Fear is brought to you by Miller Lite. Just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
I'm gonna
Delicious.
see the new studio today. Maybe that'll change things.
You don't
Yeah.
want to move? You don't want to move?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I get a vote on this. I think it's happening whether I want to or not.
You get a vote.
Yeah, we're a little further along. But I am excited for everybody to experience the new building. I've gone over there a couple of times, and I was honestly moved to tears the first time just because there's so much space. So much space to do this. I was, yeah, because it feels
Were
like
you wearing a hard hat?
no, we're beyond that. But
Oh.
not to get too into it, and I'm sure there's plenty of time for nostalgia and stuff like that. But I've been through a lot, man. It's been hard. We've been through a couple of different companies and a bunch of different incarnations of the show. I've had really good memories here, and I've had some professional lows that I would just like to remove myself from. I feel like all those emotions every time I come into this building, which is good and bad, and I'm just really excited for a new mile marker for the company. It feels like actual growth because we're going to do this in a much nicer place, and I'm excited for that.
All that space in the new building also sponsored by Miller Lite.
Killing it.
We will get to the top 5. Good contribution so far, Greg.
you slur
cut-
there?
Why did he slur there?
I
it
mean,
very much.
when he starts to drinking.
Miller Lite, yeah.
Yeah,
just
I
The
mean,
guy's
Miller Lite.
bleeding. Leave him alone. I mean,
He is bleeding. He's
blood
got an
coming out of
open
his
wound.
wound.
Yeah.
But Billy thinks he
You
looks
look
great.
great, though.
It
Yeah,
looks like he's had
exactly.
work done.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Billy.
I don't think Billy was being sarcastic.
I
You're-
wasn't. I mean, you have a nice haircut, clean shaven, got a pep in your step today.
Pep in it.
Mm-hmm.
We have. I should probably just tell the audience because I remember promising Stugotz, and I've lied here, and I try not to lie to the audience or anybody
same.
that I would
What happened?
that I would show the audience like what the last 2 years have been like while we were doing it. We've just had to conceal some of it because it's been hard and messy, and you've probably felt it in the strain of the show. The show has had to change and be different, and like we thought a lot of people were going to jump with us, and Amin came, and it was Amin, and then we looked, and it was still Amin, and it's Amin, and reinforcements are now coming, ever so slowly. Pablo, heroic Pablo
What's
Torre,
he doing?
running.
By the way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
help
moving
him.
slowly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Planting something?
Did he get the memo of the unlimited PTO that everybody takes around here?
But this,
yeah.
yes.
Where is he?
That was
Working from home.
in retrospect, as a company policy, it's delightful. I like it spiritually, but it hurts. Yeah, it hurts the unlimited personal time off.
Terrible
well,
policy.
But it's a good policy. You got to admit, it's a
well,
good
the policy is we never know who's going to be here.
I
mean,
He's a surprise in that sense.
I can answer the questions on where's Pablo, but there's a lot that goes into this move, and if you haven't been able to tell already, Dan will be making excuses on the front end for the dip in quality, and he's very worried about this move. And Pablo's not here in part because we're all worried about how Dan will take this move. There's a lot of stuff that we're throwing at Dan. We're changing the formatting of the show. We're changing where the show is produced from, and I think just throwing Pablo and hey, here's another body complicates things a little bit. So we're going to ease Pablo into the rotation.
Nobody wants to hear the excuses, and I'm not. I am making excuses for whatever the content is next week when we're between studios.
Dan's excuses are brought to you by Miller Lite.
excellent.
What is your top 5 list about? Have you assembled a top 5 list? I'd like to do this a little syrupy if we can, because it's an emotional week for me and for us, Stugotz.
We have an emotional week next week and the week after that too.
They're all
We all
emotional
deal
at
with
this
Dan.
point. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
At
a
this
very
age-
sensitive ecosystem, and I'm very worried about changing the ecosystem around Dan.
Well, this has been a comfortable place for us. I shouldn't say unlike, like Billy, I am risk averse and uncomfortable with some change. I get comfortable in places, but this place has become physically uncomfortable.
But Billy hasn't seen the new studios yet.
Yeah.
You have. So I was fortunate enough to stop by last week to go check them out. They're beautiful. So I felt better about us moving. You've seen
Oh,
them.
but I'll tell you why, though. I will tell you why, and this is way inside, but Conan O'Brien learned it. Conan O'Brien, when he changed networks and it was a big deal and he became an important person, they walk him into his new studio and it's a beautiful auditorium, beautiful, like the most expensive thing he could ever dreamed. And he walks in and he says, "Oh no, Not because of the pressure, because they used to do an intimate thing in an intimate place, in an intimate way, in a way that connected with the audience intimately. And no, you put it in a ballroom in an auditorium as opposed to a place I was here on the weekend with my brother putting up the signage myself. Like it becomes a different thing. And so
keep in mind, this place will also be intimate. There's a difference between intimate and crammed like a sardine can.
Correct. This place has become physically uncomfortable and people are dying in the building and outside it. We have to move.
Yeah.
Billy, we have to move.